Welcome back to another income portfolio update. I'll be doing monthly updates this year instead of quarterly, showing all of the income I receive outside of my work salary. What I'm trying to do is build a series of cash flow generating assets that pay me each month. So in this video, I'll give you an update on the dividends I received in January, and my dividend stock portfolio in general, including any stocks that are bought or sold. I'll also discuss my premium bond position and what I won in the January prize draw. And finally, I'll run through my income and expenditure for my real estate investments. Let's get straight into the numbers. Firstly, looking at my dividends. In January, I received £43.03 from 4 different companies. January is a typically low month for me in my dividends, as you can see here. This is just due to the cyclical payment dates for the companies and ETFs that I own. January 2020 does look particularly low here, but this was my very first dividend payment when I didn't have much invested at the time. Also, I have done some portfolio restructuring over the years, where I sold some companies that paid in January, which is why the totals in 2023 are lower than 2021 and 2022. This graph shows all of the dividends that I've ever received, and we can see that the numbers have been increasing year on year, as I keep contributing and reinvesting my dividends. You can see that my largest payment months are March, June, September and December. But I do just prefer to focus on monthly averages, rather than individual months. So the average monthly dividend in 2020 was £45.29, the average in 2021 was £77.88, the average in 2022 was £114.98, and the average in 2023 was £151.01. All dividends received are always reinvested back into the portfolio to buy more shares that pay more dividends, and then I just allow the compounding process to do its work. Now let's have a look at my stock portfolio that generates these dividends. It currently stands at £58,721 invested. I don't ever plan on selling any of the principal, so I don't really pay too much attention to the market value of my portfolio. As a dividend investor, I'm only ever interested in the income that the portfolio generates through dividends, which are always reinvested back into the portfolio. As always, being fully transparent, this is my full portfolio, showing all unrealised gains and losses. I will always be open and honest, as I want this channel to show a true and fair reflection of what I'm experiencing, so that people can relate to my videos. Let's now look at how much I deposited into my portfolio over January. I managed to contribute £1,667, which is part of my new strategy this year to try and invest £20,000 over the year to max out my ISA allowance, and I'll discuss my forecast in more detail later on in the video. I won't always use this cash to buy shares immediately, and tend to wait until prices look appealing to me and my positions. I'm not trying to time the market over long periods, but just prefer to hold some cash back in the event of any short-term drops. Also, Trading 212 are offering 5% per annum on uninvested cash at the minute, which is paid daily. So I do still earn on my deposited cash, even if I'm not putting it straight into the market just yet. Let's now look at how my total amount invested has grown from zero over time, using this graph. The graph continues to trend upwards, which just shows that I have been really consistent at adding to my portfolio each and every month. These regular contributions are a big part of my overall strategy, to keep feeding the portfolio, which increases my dividends. So let's have a look at the stocks that I've been buying and selling over January. I haven't sold anything this month, but have spent £757 adding to my existing positions. Barclays and Trig were both trading at below my average price, and VOOC dropped a couple of % over a week, which all felt like a good time to buy. After these purchases, this means that the overall yield for my portfolio as a whole currently sits at 3.6%, which has increased very slightly from 3.59% in my last update. This equates to around £2,116 per year in predicted dividends, £176 per month, £40 per week, and £5.80 per day. There will always be a discrepancy between my actual dividends received and my predicted dividends, just due to the timing of me purchasing shares and then being eligible through the ex-date of the dividend. The app that I use to hold all of my shares is Trading 212, and I do so in a stocks and shares ISA, which means that all capital gains and dividends are tax-free, as I'm based in the UK. As I mentioned earlier, you can also get 5% per year on all uninvested cash. If you're interested in starting a portfolio with Trading 212, I do have a link in the description where you can use my code and we'll both get a free share worth up to £100. And if you wanted to, you can just sell that share straight away and pocket the cash. So, what are my future plans for this portfolio? I started the year with £57,965 invested and forecast to contribute £1,667 per month over the year, which means that I should max out the 20k limit on my UK stocks and shares ISA. Using the current yield of 3.6% multiplied by the starting balance, I should receive around £2,086 over the year in dividends. Being a qualified accountant, I recognise that this is a prudent estimate, as I will be investing throughout the year, so I'm likely to receive more than that as those investments become eligible through the ex-dates of the dividends. Using my 2023 dividends received, I calculated the percentage distribution of how these were received each month. Then I used these percentages and applied them to the £2,086 I expect in 2024. Which gives me a rough idea of how the dividends will be split over 2024. It's a crude forecast, but this is how I'm tracking my progress over the year and what keeps me motivated. So over January, I forecast to add £1,667 and did manage to add that amount. I also forecasted to receive £22 in dividends and actually received £43 due to JP Morgan paying earlier than last year. So after 1 month, I'm on track to end the year at the 80k portfolio target. Finishing the year with around 80k invested means that the portfolio will be generating around £240 in dividends each month going into 2025. And this keeps me on course to hit 100k by the end of 2025 if I keep this up, as you can see from my 5-year plan. As a new update to these income reports, I'll show you what income I receive from my premium bonds. Premium bonds are an investment where you're entered into a monthly prize draw, where you can win between £25 and £1 million tax-free. I do like being part of these draws, but the main reason that I hold premium bonds is because they are my emergency fund. The benefits to holding my emergency fund in premium bonds is that there's no risk of losing my money. I'm able to withdraw money in a couple of days. And as I mentioned before, I get entered into a prize draw each month where the prizes are tax-free. The more that you have invested, the more chances you have to win. Any wins that I do have are just reinvested into buying more premium bonds. And I have £16,700 invested of the £50,000 maximum that you are allowed. However, in January, sadly, I didn't win anything. I also invest in real estate and currently own 2 buy-to-let properties and rent out a secure car parking space. So over January, this is what the numbers look like. The rental income has stayed the same. My 2-bed flat gets £1,000 a month and my 1-bed flat gets £775. I also get £80 a month for renting out the parking space. The management fee has stayed the same, as has the mortgage. But I did have some repair costs, where the front door handle broke on one of the flats, so I had to get an out-of-hours locksmith to go and help and repair this. Therefore, my pre-tax profit over January is £902.90. That concludes my monthly update, and this is the summary for the month, with £945.93 received. I do document my investing journey on this channel, and you can see how this has been progressing if you go back and watch some of my earlier videos. If you are interested in following along, please subscribe to the channel to make sure that you don't miss any future updates. And if you have enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, as it does help the channel out a lot, and it's something that I really do appreciate. So I hope I've covered everything that you wanted to hear, but if not, feel free to drop me a question in the comments section below. I'll be reading and responding to every message that I can. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.